Hello, everyone. My name is Ramon, and today I will be discussing my second project for Flatiron School, a coding school here in DC and also in New York. Very awesome. I'm doing the course online, and I have reached my Sinatra project, which is a basically a full-blown web application using Sinatra and Ruby. Um, Concepts that are being discussed or that are going to be present in the application is going to be HTTP requests, sessions, and also the Bicrypt gem, which is used to authenticate. The Bicrypt gem actually is a really cool gem because all you have to do, if you are creating users, all you have to do is create a migration for the user that has a Remember Digest, and you don't even have to say the password. It just checks against that particular digest. Remember Digest. Also, there's going to be. I'm gonna go over my blog because I did a lot of I wrote a lot of it. It's also going to be talking about models and ORM. In this case, Ruby uses, of course, Active Record as the interface between the model and the database. We are definitely going to be, there was definitely an extensive use of model view and controller. My application has a few controllers actually, so it has multiple controllers and it has multiple models. I try to make it as hard as I could because I wanted to practice and I wanted to get to Rails, and that's where we are going to be going the next time. So let me do a real quick walkthrough, and I'm going to start by going into, if you were to come into the website, there was a deployed website already. You will log into Lab Tracker. So to start, I wanted to tell you that the the application, the whole point of the application is to have help students track their labs. So if you have a chemistry lab, a physics lab, a biology lab, and you want to see what kind of labs you have, you can track them. And it also, but it has four main models, and I have them here in a I usually, when I make the models before, I usually tend to do a spreadsheet and try to come up with the attributes and also, the relationship. In this case, I have a student, teacher, labs, and experiments. And the joining table here is going to be labs, and the student has many teachers through labs, and the teacher has many students through labs. Also, a student has many experiments through labs. Because of the through, lab belongs to student and it also belongs to teachers, and the experiment also belongs to labs, and that's the other joining table right here. So that's basically, that helps me out a lot when I'm thinking a picture, when I'm using talks, to create my model and test them. I think about, okay, so I know I'm going to need this type of a foreign key, in regard to when it comes to the database tables. So you will come here, and this is my front end, and I'm also using layouts. And you will sign up here. Pardon me, but my computer is kind of slow because I have a lot of stuff on it. So I'm just going to do my name, and then I'm just going to do RC, and I'm going to pick that I'm a junior because I'm going to be graduating probably like in 2.5 months. And then 1, 2, 3 is I'm going to do my password. And then once you log in, once you sign up, it's going to log you in, and it's going to bring you to the to where your labs will be. So, but in this case, you don't have any labs. So it tells you your account was created successfully. I'm using extensively a lot of Flash to let the user know, or to tell them if there was like a, a caution like log in, because, or you're not, you're not the owner of this lab and stuff like that. So that was the the sign up. And the cool thing, I have some drop down menus here, and I can look at my profile, which it'll take me there right now. And there it is. And you can edit your profile if you want. So I'm going to do that right away just to show you that functionality. I'm just going to do a RA, and then I'm going to submit. And I'm waiting for it. Like I said, I'm sorry, so there it is. After, you can log out, or you can delete your own profile if you want. But I'm just going to log out because I don't have any labs, and I'm going to use, I created some data already in my for this, and I'm going to show you how I seed it. So, and those have labs. So I'm going to sign up with that guy. And this is the sign up page, by the way. And it brings you to the sign up page. When you log out, as I logged out, it brings me into the sign up page. And so this person has, some labs. You can look at your labs. You can search a lab. Like some of the stuff that it does is you can search a lab. If you want to search a lab, just put it up there. And then it'll bring up the regular lab, and you can edit it, you can delete it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a lab first. So I'm going to call it, let's call it Physics 203. Actually, I already had that one. Let's do Chem 300, and then let's do organic, because that's probably what organic would have been, right? And then I'm going to submit. So I was going to create a lab. So I'm creating the lab. I create a lab, and as you can see, the lab doesn't have a teacher yet. So it gives you an option. Do you want to add a teacher? And it gives you an option here. You can add the teacher here. This is the single lab, but if you can go to labs also, because now you're going to have a few more labs. Well, I mean, with this one is going to be a list of them. You can add the teacher from here, or you can add it from here. And the cool thing about it is that it'll take you right away to the teacher. So we're going to add the teacher, and we're going to say, I don't know, let me see, just teacher, I guess. Sorry, my mind is blanking now. I'm thinking too much about the other stuff. And I want to say chemistry. Actually, let's call it Mendeleev, okay? I think that's, I don't even know how to spell Mendeleev, but you get the point. So it'll create it, and it'll associate this teacher with the lab that we just created also. So as you can see at the bottom, you have Chem 300, organic, and this lab doesn't have any experiments either. So you can add experiments, and that's another thing. That was the other model that I showed you at the beginning. So I can add the experiments, and let's say we're doing synthesis of CO2 or something. Create different molecules. Okay, and I just submitted. So now when we get to our labs again, you're gonna have a new lab that has the teacher and also has experiments now. And so I can now it changed like you see before. So this is our lab and I'm gonna take you back there. Like if you don't have any experiment, then it'll tell you there. If you don't have any teacher, then it'll tell you there. So I'm gonna show you also, I'm gonna use the edits for this particular lab. It has description 0. And then I'm gonna just change the description to add a better description. And then I'm gonna submit and save, which is, you know, all that is being done via the controller. So now you see the lab, it brings you to a lab that you use updated. So it says your lab has been successfully added. And then I can go back here. You can see now it has added better description. Okay, so that's basically, then I'm gonna delete this lab just to show you that functionality. So it'll delete it also. And then, so you see now you don't have that lab anymore. The lab it gets deleted. Now let me go back. So this is it. It also has some minor stuff like, you know, like a contact form. It has an about. And then of course, you know, the home. And the cool thing about the home actually is that once you sign up, that button doesn't show up anymore. So because if you already signed up, why not? But I also have protection in the back and the controller. So let me get back to here. So this is the application basically. These are my control, my migrations. So actually I'm gonna start with the way the control is going. So these are all the controllers that they're mounted, and I'm using the Cornell Gem. So the Cornell Gem has like a lot of cool stuff like the Rails Gem, you know, and that you use. So and then so I'm gonna start on the top, which is basically the application lays here. These are my controllers. My application controller, where I set the session down, everything is going to be inherited from here. My root, which is going to be going to home when people come in. That's your landing page. Then you have the experiments, and this is the experiment controller. This is a labs controller. I only labs, and I only developed all of the, you know, the crew, they are create, retrieve, update, and delete functions for labs. Then it has also a sessions controller, which allows the user to log in and log out. The static pages, which is, you know, nothing changes, like the about page. The students controller also is fully developed because, you know, you can update your name, you can update your password, whatever. And then the teacher only has 2 in the back. In regard to the helper, I created a session helper, you know, that allows me to check if you sign in or not in the current user. And then here are the models. And then the main model here was the student. It has, you know, the relationships here. That has many through, which I discussed that already in my little spreadsheet. And then also I did some, the cool thing about that, I used some enum here to do, you know, freshman, sophomore, and that's what allows me to do a drop down menu when you log in. And if you say you want to be a freshman, remember I told you, that was pretty cool. And then also the valid email rejects. I use that because I wanted to. I stole this from Michael Hurl, actually, his book in Rails, and that guy has a lot of good stuff in there. I want to give him props for that. And then here's it has secure bicrypt gem, and then more. I have more validations, and then the teacher also has more, some validations. Then the views for the index. These are all the views right here. The cool thing about one of the cool things that I discover, that I always wonder how, when you're using a Rails app, how does it know about the errors? So I discovered this little thing right here, which is called the student errors. In this case, it's like the model, and it gives it's basically active record getting errors from the database saying like you can't have this empty because you have restraints. As like you set up your validations. So think overall that's it. Besides that, I have a bunch of partials also, which is cool. I got to refactor a lot of the code, and then the coolest thing was using grids, which I'm not really good at it. The CSS, I'm not good at it, but like I can tell. So I use grids to do my layout, and got to deal with a little bit with the yield method here that is used in lambdas, which is basically what this layout uses. Then I have all my migration database, and another cool thing is that when you download the application, there's data already that you can see some of the data from right here. So it'll give you all this stuff. So you can run regdb migrate after you clone it, and then you can regdb test migrate, and then you can do regdb seeds, and it'll see the application. You can see it. You can see the application with some data already, or you can add your own one by one if you ever have want to use the repo. Then it has a public, where public the access pipeline, I think it's called in Rails, and so I have my images. I also have no, I didn't have any JavaScript, but I have a bunch of style sheets that are organized in regard to, and in accordance to some of the controllers, and it doesn't have any testing actually. So. And that's it. I hope you enjoy my video, and have a great day. Thank you.